What up, guys? Yeah, another winter seasonal beer coming at you. This one is from the good folks at Ommegang. It is their bourbon barrel Adoration. And it is their Belgian style Noel ale brewed with spices aged in bourbon barrels. That has definitely become extremely popular as of late. The bourbon barrel aging for the winter beers. And FYI, this is 11.5% ABV. They also recommend serving it at 50 degrees Fahrenheit. It's nice when they tell you what temperature to be served as, because sometimes you're just like, I don't know, man. But 11.5, man, this is going to be a little burly. I'm getting towards wine territory. I do like Ommegang. Ommegang is a quality brewery. One of the better Belgian style producers out of Belgium. And ooh, you can already smell that. You can smell it from here. You can probably smell it through the camera. Okay, let's get into the smell before I get it all. And I'm trying not to breathe through my nose. But all right, let's get into the review. Get into the smell. And this is, that looks like a hefty beer. Woo, okay. Yes, this is 11.5% ABV, absolutely. It has like a black licorice aroma. Which, let's be honest, what's the deal with black licorice? Like, why do people still buy it? Like, I feel like you go to like your grandparents' house, and they have, if they have like little candy dishes sitting around all over the place, and it's like an old, I don't know if it's just a straight old person thing, but like there'd always be somebody that have like the container of the black licorice, and like my grandfather just be chowing them down. It's like, there is red. Like, you don't have to eat the black licorice anymore. Like, this isn't the Great Depression. There's red now. I don't know. I just don't get. I don't get black licorice, but this smells like black licorice. I guess I could see some of the bourbon, but it's got more of like a sweeter bourbon to it, almost like one of those. Like one of those honey bourbons, like a honey jack kind of thing. It's got that sweeter note to it. Yeah, that sounds about right. There's some earthy notes to it, like I don't know if you've ever had like a Benedictine liquor, or one of those black licorice kind of liquors, but they always have like different like botanicals in it. It's almost like a strange kind of gin, just with some crazier other ingredients. But there's a very like earthy aspect to it. This has that kind of bite earthiness to it. So yes, it has the black licorice. I'm gonna say there is like a honey bourbon aspect to it, and then there's just like a earthy botanical thing going on. Like, but I'm not sure. What exactly the notes are for. For that. Maybe a dab of like a cherry, kind of, but that might be from like the bourbon wood aging. I'm guessing that's what that aroma comes from. I'm not expecting this to have like a cherry taste to it. But yeah. This is going to be a strong ale. So if you want them strong, this is 11.5%, and it smells that every bit of the 11.5. You can smell it in here. It has the black, like a hearty black licorice, and I feel like they took like a bourbon barrel, and they almost like they seared it, smoked it, cured it, added some honey residue on the inside of it, and then aged this thing in it. That's kind of what I'm getting at. This is definitely going to be more of a sipper beer, I'm assuming. But I'm going to recommend it. It's definitely piqued my interest. I haven't had a very strong kind of... I haven't had a Noel beer like this in a while. So I haven't actually found... I used to find like the Belgian Noel winter beers more frequently, but I haven't found them as much as of late. But I am interested in this, so I'm going to recommend it on the aroma. Now let's get into this taste. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's a Belgian Noel, that's for damn sure. Now this is a winter warmer. You can feel it. Of all the beers I've had so far that have claimed to be like winter warmer kind of things, nah, forget those. This is it. I feel like this is probably 12. Yeah, it's 12 fluid ounces. I feel like they probably almost could have made the bottle smaller to pour into more like a snifter kind of bottle. Not that I'm complaining that there's more in it, but because sometimes you'll get some of those smaller Belgian ones that are like 8.7 or I just made up that number, but smaller. I feel like that, like this ABV kind of lends to that. This is one of those beers that you get at a restaurant and they cut you off at like 1.5. A lot of things going on here. A lot of things going on. Sorry, I gotta kind of decipher some of this. There is that deeper, almost barley wine sweetness to it. Very trying to think, almost like a black licorice molasses sweetener to it. Very like bottom of your tongue kind of thing. It's not all super dark or heavy. There is ooh. You know what? I'm going to say there is almost a bit of a hint of a black cherry aspect to it. Right at the back of my tongue. I feel like I'm getting a dab of just black cherry mixed, or dark cherry, unsweetened cherry mixed with that black licorice. Something else going on in here. This is a hearty beer. There's a dab. I feel like a small amount of malt on the tip of my tongue. I'm trying to get through that black licorice thing to really figure out what that slight malt is. It's one of those beers. It's like you can almost blow smoke rings with it. You can smell it on your breath for sure. Don't drink this before you go to a party. Everyone will know. You just drank the equivalent of 12 beers. Yeah, so what? I hate this job. there is a you do get some of the woody cask aspect to it. Like it almost feels like, or it tastes like you pressed your tongue against the inside of that bourbon barrel. You do get some of that. Yeah, you get a hint of the actual bourbon. It has been a long time, or a while, since I've had just bourbon. I'm always more like a Scotch person, although sometimes Scotch is aged in those kinds of barrels. Everything's aged in bourbon barrels. I feel like at the heart of the beer is that black licorice kind of thing going on, and surrounding it is the woody I had a burp that's like hanging out in the middle of my throat. Surrounding the black licorice, you have like the woody kind of bourbon thing. It doesn't have really that honey aspect that I thought I was picking up when I was smelling it. But yeah, this is one of those beers. Yeah, definitely don't keep it like locked in the fridge at like 30 degrees or whatever. This is one you want to kind of warm, let it, and you'll really be able to fully appreciate the tastes and the aromas when it's closer to room temperature. I'm curious what the spices are, because I can't pick it out. There was definitely that earthy spice, you know, like I was talking about with like those Benedictine kind of liquors. It's something like I cannot pinpoint it. Maybe like a coriander, maybe. But I need to go to like my spice rack and just like start testing spices. But I'm going to recommend it on taste. I think it's very well done for a strong Belgian style Noel. This is it's done very well. I don't see too many places attempt it without just butchering the hell out of it. This one you very much can taste. I could smell it, and I knew that the alcohol was going to be higher. But it doesn't have like that strong just alcohol, ethanol, whatever taste to it. A lot of places that just suck at making this kind of beer, it just tastes like alcohol. Like it should not taste like rubbing alcohol in your beer. If it does, they did something wrong. But I'm going to recommend it for a taste. Next category is value for price, and I believe this one costs $4.99. Which, honestly, when it is almost 12% ABV, that's not bad. When you think of the equivalent, this is essentially 3 standard beers in one. So, I mean, you can just sip it, enjoy it. This is a good Friday. Got the fire going, maybe you got a cigar, maybe you got a little bit of work to do, but it's like just your own work you're doing, or you're just reading something and you want something that you can sip. You don't feel like whiskey, you don't feel like scotch, you want something that you can, progress a little further with. This is a good one for that, and I think the price is fair for what it is. I'm not exactly sure how long it takes to make one of these. But yeah, they do not say any extra info, which I like. They definitely make it look like just a Belgian beer with the labeling. I mean, this is very much like an Abbey kind of style bottle. But so I would recommend it on value for price. I think it's fair for what you get. Next category is distinction. How distinct is it? And it's done well. It's done well. It is. I've had enough of these that are just piss poor and just suck. It's like, don't do that. Stop making this. Like, you have that one friend that keeps trying to do the one thing and they're terrible at it. It's like, just stop. There's a lot of those breweries that just are not good at making this, and most of the breweries out there won't even try. Ommegang is one of the breweries that will try to make one of these. There's not a ton of American breweries that will. I think like Firestone Walker will, but they're kind of partnered with them, and they, Duvel runs them, so that makes sense. I think Goosehead actually has some okay bourbon stuff, so they do that, but there's not a ton of them that really excel at this particular style. So for that alone, for the fact that they do it very well, I'm going to recommend it on Distinction because most of them are very good. All right, drinkability. That's tricky. That is a tricky category to answer when you're doing 11.5%. Like, I'm gonna recommend it on drinkability. I mean, you are not going to pound an 11.5% ABV. I mean, this isn't Boone's Farm. You're not chugging it. This is God, Boone's Farm. I need to buy one of those to review a Boone's Farm. I can't even tell you the last time I had that. Probably because I don't remember. Because I had the Boone's Farm. But I think it drinks perfectly good. 11.5%. Solid. Works well. Yeah. I'll recommend it for drinkability. I think as long as you know that you're getting what you're getting into. This is not one of those beers that you spring on your friend that's never really had a beer before and they only drink like Bud Light. This isn't gonna work. They'll take one sip and probably like dry heave in the corner. So don't do that to them. Get them warm up to this. But for everybody else, as long as you know what you're getting into, I think this absolutely works very well. And yeah, so I'm going to recommend it on drinkability. And all right, last category is would I buy it again? And I'm still looking for that perfect Christmas beer for me. Maybe it doesn't exist this year, but this for me is a solid winter warmer. The other ones is just like I want to feel the warmth as I'm drinking it. You feel that here. This is a definite Noel style Belgian beer, which that is, a Christmas style. So I can go for that. Spices, I'd love to know. Maybe I'll look it up on the website and they'll say. But I'm very curious what they are because I just have no idea. And but yeah, I think I'd have no problem buying this again. I wouldn't mind buying like a big bottle and just got some buddies over that know what they're getting into. Just sharing it, and you'll feel pretty good after that bottle's done. But yeah, so I'm going to recommend it on that. And if I'm not mistaken, I recommended it on every single category. So that means it gets the official 2 dudes stamp of approval. So yeah, if you're a fan of the strong Belgian Noel style like winter beers, you're gonna dig this. I believe this is 11.5%. That's probably on the lower side of some of those other Belgian ones. Like I've seen them, like 4% higher. Those ones that get to you. But I think this is in a nice sweet spot. Again, if you buy this, you can keep it in your fridge, but make sure you take it out before you crack it open. Give it some time to warm back up to not quite room temperature, but like I said, it's 50 degrees. But yeah, so that is my review of Brewery Ommegang Bourbon Barrel Adoration. What do you think? Have you had this before? Are you a fan of the seasonal bourbon barrels? That is a big thing now. I think that has replaced my favorite, but that's okay. It'll come back around. But yeah, let me know what you think. This is the 2019 edition. They do have a best by date, so this might not be one where you want to refrigerate forever. The problem is the best by date is covered, so I have no idea when I'm supposed to drink this by. I think I got it covered though. But anyways, like, subscribe, do all the good stuff. And for myself and Bourbon Barrel Adoration from Ommegang Brewery, take it easy.